Hey everybody, I hope you're doing well. I'm just now picking up the vlogging camera today. I feel a little sad because the snow is basically gone. We had a really great last day of snow yesterday and then woke up this morning and it was already 4 degrees. So it was starting to like get sludgy and it wasn't really sticking, and the kids went outside very briefly and, you know, jumped in puddles and all that kind of stuff. And now it's basically gone. It's drying up and it's absorbing into the ground now. So I think that's it. I think that's it for the snow for the year. But it was magical. It was really magical. And I told Roman this. I think I fell in love with Berlin this week. Like, I think I had that moment that I've been really waiting for, of just feeling like we're where we're supposed to be. And I haven't had that feeling really ever since we've moved here. So like we've done little things here and there, but something about being in the snow and watching my kids just be so happy and so free in the snow, and like Linnea happening upon that little house that we saw built out of sticks. It was amazing. It was just amazing. I felt so happy and so free with the snow, and kind of makes me wonder, maybe I'm supposed to like live in Sweden or something. Like, I don't know. I mean, I've never been to Sweden, so I have absolutely no idea what I'm talking about, but I just loved it. It made me feel so happy. So happy. You know what was special too? It was so special that it was snowing with all of us home for the boys' birthdays. Like, it really made their birthdays feel super magical to me. And I'm really, really happy about that. While I have a little bit of time, I wanted to talk a little bit about the boys' parties, and especially Elliot's, with it being his first birthday, and kind of why we did what we did, which might be quite over the top for many people, especially since we didn't invite anybody and we didn't have like a real party. But for Callum's first birthday, the theme was like Mr. Wonderful, that kind of thing. And it was fun, and we had like mustaches and bow ties and ties and like it was like a little man theme, and we loved it, and we had a party for him. And then for Linnea, with her being my flower child, a Linnea is actually a flower. It's like rose or lily or daisy, or it's another name for a flower. It's a type of flower. So every time I see flowers, like a garden, I always think of Linnea, and she just so happened to be born around, she was born in April, which is also such a beautiful time of year with things blooming and Easter and just this sense of renewal. And so for Linnea's birthday, even though we were in London, also away from family, we were able to go out to lunch for her birthday, and we had like kind of a flower theme with floral napkins and banners and garland, and then the next weekend we took her to Kensington Palace, the gardens at Kensington Palace, and I have pictures of her little 1-year-old self at Kensington Palace, and we just had a wonderful time for her birthday. And then for Elliot's, it was kind of obviously it was a bit strange, like, you know, every other thing that we've dealt with this year, as all of you have as well. You know, he wasn't born in the pandemic. He was born when COVID was still an epidemic, but it was less than 2 weeks later that everything just shut down. And I think back to that all the time, just how I think a lot about him and timing, and how he was born 2 weeks early, and had he have been born on his due date or even after his due date, as was the case for Linnea, then it would have been really awful, because my mom wouldn't have been able to be here. And as you guys know, Elliot had some nursing issues in the beginning. The first week was really hard because he didn't gain much weight, and so I was pumping, and I really wasn't much of a mom to Callum and Linnea, because my whole existence was pumping for Elliot, bottle feeding Elliot, nursing Elliot, just every single thing for him. And it was difficult. It was a very difficult start with him. We were lucky that because he came early, that my mom was here to help out with the other kids while we were working through those feeding issues in those early days. And I was basically a zombie. My mom was supposed to stay a week longer than she did, but ended up going home because this thing called COVID was picking up strength around the world, and she ended up leaving early because we were afraid that airports would close and she wouldn't be able to get back home. And sure enough, my mom went home, and then 2 days later there was a travel ban between the US and Europe. And so it was all about timing. I mean, it was hard in the beginning for me, but his timing was everything. And Callum, I think back to just his whole first year and everything that he's done, and it's like Callum's first year and Linnea's first year, they were both exposed to so many things. Callum and I flew home to the US basically every 6 weeks his first year of life, and we were just, I became so good at traveling alone with a baby that it was like nothing. I mean, it was hard work, of course, but it got easy. With Linnea, we went home still quite a bit that first year of her life. We didn't get to travel as much with her because, you know, having 2 kids changes things. But with Linnea in her first year of life, we moved to the UK and we were doing a lot of London exploring, and she was always in museums and always on trains and always on the go. And she also went to the US multiple times. She went to Mardi Gras. I mean, so she did a lot of stuff too. And then here's Elliot, his biggest adventure was like going from our room to the living room. And it's like, he hasn't done very much. I mean, he did go to Stuttgart. He has gone to Stuttgart, but he hasn't done or really seen the things that the older 2 kids have seen, and not at all even close to the quantity. Granted, Elliot's had family nonstop. He's had us, he's had his siblings, he's had Roman home, and that is something I'm forever grateful for. But he hasn't been able to see or do the same things that the kids have done. I've always looked at raising my kids as being citizens of the world, and they are. They have 3 citizenships. They're bilingual. They've lived in a country that's not their birth country and not a birth country of either of their parents. It's something I'm really proud of. That's part of our identity as a family. It's part of their identity as kids. And it was almost like, you know, I wanted to kind of gift the world, the best parts of the world, to Elliot for his birthday. So I was thinking about, you know, first birthdays and what does that mean? And, you know, we're in a pandemic, a worldwide pandemic, but yet there's so much beauty in this world, and there's so many amazing things that I can't wait to take that little boy and show him. You know, I can't wait for him to see the country where I come from, or even meet the people that are so instrumental in my life. He hasn't met even many of Roman's family members, and they've all just had to love him from afar through vlogs and through messages, and they're even here in Germany. So I just wanted to give him the best of the world, and I wanted that to be the theme of his birthday. And also, as a side note, What a Wonderful World is my favorite song. That's what we danced to at our German wedding, our first dance, and that was also our US wedding first dance. So it's a very special song for that too. And so it just felt really fitting that this song that's always made me cry every time I hear the words, and I hear babies cry, I watch them grow, they'll learn so much more than I'll ever know. It just brings me to tears because that's how I feel about my children. They are wise. They're wise beyond their years. And I think kids learn so much more. I've always felt that kids are the best teachers, and we as adults could learn a lot from them. And I do. I learn so much from my children. So it's kind of like a mix of all of that. This super special song that is, of course, a reminder of home for me, New Orleans. This song that was the foundation of mine and Roman's, the beginning of our married life together. This song that had a super personal meaning to me anyways, in general. On top of being in this worldwide pandemic for this little boy who's a citizen of the world. It just felt like the right thing to do, the right theme. I loved it. I loved how it turned out. The kids had fun. I put my heart and soul into his party, and I wanted it to be a special thing for the kids, and especially for Elliot. I hope that we're able to see more of the world in his next year of life, in this new year of life. How's your homework going?
Not so great.
Okay, we're having a hard time focusing right now, huh? We got word today, we got an email from Callum's teacher that he will go back to school next week. So how are you feeling about that? We've already told him. How do you feel about going back to school?
I'm a little bit happy.
A little bit happy? Berlin just announced that they would start sending kids back, of course with certain measures in place. So like Callum's whole class will not be back together for a while, but it will be him, and basically his class is split in half. So and they'll only go part-time. So he will go, he's in the group A, the first group. So he'll start back on Monday. He'll go next week, and he'll go the whole week. We don't know what his day will be like or how long each day he'll be there, but he'll go next week, and then he'll do home learning the week after. But it's a start, it's something. It's some face-to-face time with his teacher, and I think it'll be good for him. It will be kind of nice to not be doing math at like 8 o'clock at night.
Here comes the poppy pop. Poppity pop. There it goes. That's the laugh. That's a meaning.
Here, the one's behind you.
Okay. Why is Tom doing this?
Is that funny?
Can somebody hold my ears?
Hold your ears. No.
And then can someone on have it? Yeah. Stop. Yeah.
Okay. You guys need to do some cleaning. Elliot, you still have a birthday present to finally open. Here. Yeah.
He doesn't want to.
Little blue truck. Little blue truck.
Oh my gosh, he really loves it.
Yeah.
You want to?
That's a fun book.
Look, baby.
That's a fun book. Oh my gosh, you did it.
Ich will auch ein Buch.
Schauen morgen nach
Oh
dem
my
Ast, der
gosh.
nicht mehr biegen kann, okay?